you go through it and you respect the guys that pass because you barely eat. We slept 15 minutes every single night, and you only eat 2 MREs a day, but in a 24-hour period. So, and most of the time it was when you finished your patrol and when you started. So you had an MRE at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you had an MRE at like 5:30, so you didn't eat the rest of the day, and you're still burning thousands of calories because you're carrying an 80-pound rucksack.
In terms of how we interact with so-called regular units, the plebeians as we like to call them.
The peasants.
The peasants. The thing that I loved about the military is the general feeling of brotherhood and camaraderie. And so the more I like you, the more I'm going to make fun of you and give you a hard time. I just get such a kick out of any time in a video game when they have like that back and forth dialogue between soldiers and stuff. I laugh and laugh, man. It's so funny to me.
We were a little bit different. We treated them like absolute shit because we were way better than them and they fucking knew it. No, if you think about it, it's like we have access to better training, better equipment, and you find amazing people in every single unit, right? I mean, some people just have different career goals in mind. So, I mean, you find great dudes everywhere, but I feel like if you're looking for personal development, you go the special operations route. You know, we set the standard of how things should be, so it's kind of like a big brother role. So obviously we still have respect for them because they have to do everything we do with less.
It's definitely an honor to get the kind of gratitude and respect. They support us and then we support them. When we're on the battlefield, we're all wearing the same uniform. So.
Absolutely. My deployment was a joint operation. You know, the Ranger Regiment, Delta Force, British SAS, French SAS, all living under the same building, and I loved the Brits. They are hilarious. You couldn't understand a word they said, but you knew exactly what they meant. And like the French they would just bring like the most stuff, even though we were living in just straight shithole of a place and we had to like shit in bags and you know couldn't drink the water, but they would have their own entire kitchen and they'd import tomatoes and stuff, and they were all just sitting there sipping their tea while the Brits and us were just like biting jerky.
That's awesome. We had a fair amount of military exchange programs where we would sometimes get a soldier from another unit. Like we had one from Australia he was a super cool dude. U.S. military, we have the most money, the best training, the best equipment by far. But the things about a lot of these countries, what they don't have in resources and money, they make up for in grueling, gritty training. You know, like they do stuff that like we can't even conceive of because, well, it's like, well, we have a little bit more money, we can kind of take this high technology path, and you realize that they're from a different military, but there's still that kind of camaraderie and that rapport that you have and that sameness that it's like a brother or at least somebody from a different part of the family coming in. You have that instant connection.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Rangers, Special Forces, and MARSOC Raiders. There is a stereotype about each other. And if you want to throw SEALs in there too, because they're also part of the Special Operations Command, although we don't want them there. No, they're all right. The ones that I've worked with personally haven't been the best at the job. Like the SEAL is more of a title. They're a bunch of cowboys, like they get to wear whatever they want, but like when it comes to doing the job, there's no really organization to it. But that's just my personal experience. I'm sure there's great ones. Haven't met them, but MARSOC Raiders, they're pretty much the Marine equivalent to the Ranger Regiment, and I've met a couple great dudes, and it's really funny because we're all like, dude, you're going out there and you're getting after it, and they're like, no, we're not. I thought you were going out there and getting after it, and you're like, no! You don't hear a lot about MARSOC Raiders. They're really big experts in unconventional warfare, and the ones I've talked to have done like crazy amounts of training where they're like riding around on horseback and stuff. The moment that it hit me that like I'm really up there in the hierarchy of the military is the second they handed me the tan beret. It's like I went through 8 weeks of just absolute shit. You see your cadre, you see how badass they are, and they tell you the craziest war stories, and they like ingrain this sense of greatness into you of what you want to become once you put that thing on. And the second you get it and you get to hold it in your hand and then you don it at your ceremony, you're like, this shit's fucking real. They do the little ceremony for like your girlfriend and your mom and pop and stuff, and they show this wild ass video, but you don't really feel the power until it's like in your hand.
an experience that really kind of hit home. That's like, wow, I'm a Special Forces operator. I'm a Green Beret. It was actually, the graduation is nice, but when I deployed to Iraq, we get our own little base within the base. We get our own little compound within the compound, you know, and it's just you and those 11 other guys on that ODA living and working in that compound. And I think when I got to Iraq, that was something that really hit me. It was like, wow, we are here as an elite unit and we have a specific purpose, and I felt very proud and very honored to be a part of it.
Ranger School, it is what it is, right? It's one of the greatest leadership courses in the military. You go through it and you respect the guys that pass because it is an extremely physically and mentally challenging course. You barely eat, you barely sleep. I know the first company I went through when I was going through Darby, we slept 15 minutes every single night, and you only eat 2 MREs a day, but in a 24-hour period. So, and most of the time it was when you finished your patrol and when you started. So you had an MRE at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you had an MRE at like 5:30, so you didn't eat the rest of the day, and you're still burning thousands of calories because you're carrying an 80-pound rucksack.
And it's like, what, how long?
So they say Ranger School is 64 days. It's not. You fucking suck there, dude. So you like get recycled and you stay. You do CERT, which is Small Unit Ranger Tactics, and that's 3 weeks. And then I started Ranger School. I recycled the first phase, and you're not a real Ranger unless you recycle. I was there from November all the way to the end of March. So I was there for 4 months.
Damn.
And that's a really good case. The longest guy I knew was there for 11 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the entire time you're there, even if you recycle, you know, you're a prisoner essentially.
Yeah.
The thing about it is you do learn good skills to have, but I'll tell you, I don't remember from Ranger School because the entire thing just becomes a blur because you're not sleeping.
Is it the one on the left or the right? The one on the left.
It's a very challenging course, but it's really hard. It's when you see a Ranger tab, it's like you respect them immediately because you know how challenging it is. But did I learn anything in Ranger School? Absolutely not. But I am a tough ass motherfucker
That's
because
right.
of it.
That's all you really need to know.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Get up, Private Allen! Rangers lead the way! Move!
It's my 40th birthday yesterday. If
Woo!
there's one
You're old
thing,
as shit.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks. I feel good. If there's one thing that I would want to communicate to younger people or people that play these military video games, you have to understand it is 0% like what it is being in real life. Like maybe it goes without saying that it's a video game and you would never actually think that anything like that would translate into real life, but it has to be said. It's not like that. War is not fun. Gunfights are not fun. Your life is on the line. There's no reset button. You don't get a bunch of different tries to do it. That's it. You got one life, and when you're in that kind of situation, it's do or die, and it's them or you. Video games are fun, man. I love video games. I want to play video games. Yeah, you enjoy them, and get your fancy painted guns and all that kind of bells and whistles and stuff. Don't ever think that it's anything like the real world. You never want to be in a gunfight, ever. Just keep it on the screen, keep it fun, and just keep playing video games. If you want to see more videos like this, just go to Gamology's Facebook and YouTube page.
See you there.
That's cool, man.
You
Legal murders.
guys heard that.
Oh, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Bunch of